Good morning. So I wanted to kind of document my last cetrotide dose. I've done a video on my gonal shots and my low dose HCG, but I'm on my last day of cetrotide and I realized that I haven't done a video on it yet, so I thought it would be good to document that as well. So the cetrotide shot I take in the morning, and basically it's anovulatory, so it stops me from ovulating. I'm on day 12, crazy, day 12 of stims today. I had to have an extra day because I've got some slow going follicles in there, so we're hoping to give them an extra boost, but my retrieval, today is Tuesday and my retrieval is set for Thursday, so I'm really excited about that. So cetrotide, you get a lot of stuff in your cetrotide packet. So you get this syringe, which is filled with liquid. You get this vial, which is filled with a powder. And then you get two different needles. You get a draw-up needle, which is the yellow cap, and then the injecting needle, which is the gray cap. So there's a lot of steps to go along with this whole cetrotide thing. And the first time, I really felt like I needed to do a video on this one because you just take the cap off. The first time that I did it, I almost drove to my doctor like, what the hell, I can't get any of this stuff out of the vial. Moral of the story is it's because I'm a doofus and I had the needle too far up in the container, but... and so it wasn't pulling anything. But it is a lot of steps, and so it's confusing. So I'm just cleaning the top off with my alcohol swab, and then I'm going to just pick a spot. I've got little injection holes everywhere at this point in day 12 of my shot, so that's fun. So we'll do that. All right, so here's the fun part. So this is what it comes in. It comes with this little cap. So what you do is you take the draw-up needle, which is the big, long, thick needle that looks very intimidating, but you don't do anything but draw up your medicine with it, so don't be alarmed. You twist the cap off of that guy, and then you twist the cap off of that guy. And you take your draw-up needle and you put it on here, and you just twist it till it can't twist anymore. And then you take the needle off. Yeah, look at this bad boy. Draw-up needles are frightening, but there's nothing to be frightened about. So the first thing you need to do is get your liquid into your powder, because you can't do this ahead of time. You got to do it right when you give yourself the shot. So, sorry, my paperwork is in the way here. So you just stick your draw-up needle in. If I do this without any mistakes, it'll be a miracle. But you know what? The moral of the story is, with this stuff, is if you get it in there, you get it in there. You know what I mean? So you just put your needle in, and then what you do is you just inject the liquid into here. I like to kind of pull it up sometimes to, so can you see it dropping in there? And then I kind of swirl as I go because I feel like it helps dissolve it a little better than when you wait until the end and swirl it. Because you want to make sure that all of the powder is dissolved into your liquid and you don't have any like spots or anything like that. You want it to be nice and dissolved. So I always check the bottom and make sure there's not any little pieces of powder stuck in there. And if you dissolve it as you go, it's good because it you are sure that everything dissolves. And it dissolves a lot quicker that way than you putting all of this liquid in and then like missing a spot, or you have like a little kind of chunk of powder at the bottom. So that's always kind of annoying. Okay, so see, now I'm all dissolved and we're good to go. So here's what I do. The instructions say to invert and pull, but this needle is so long and this vial is so short that it's really difficult to get it all in if you do that. So what I do is I plunge Also, this needle, I don't know if it's just mine, but it kind of like self-rises back up. It's got like some pressure in there. So make sure you push your needle all the way down. And then what I do is I push my needle all the way down into the bottom corner of this vial, like that. And that helps to really, because you have to draw up every last bit of medicine out of this. You can't leave some at the bottom because you need this full dose to keep you from ovulating, which is super important because you don't want to ovulate all those eggs out that you're supposed to be getting retrieved in, 48 hours. That would be terrible. So here's what I do. I put it all the way down to the corner like that, and I set it down, and then I pull up, and I draw all the medicine back up into my syringe. This is the very best way that I have found to do it, because if you try to put it upside down and do it, it's just so impossible to get all of that medicine out. It's not easy. This shot is kind of a pain. Like, not in a physical way. It just, for me, this shot was difficult. So then once you start to see bubbles coming up in there, I always just pull up a little bit more, and then I check to make sure that there's no even like drops of anything left in there. Just make sure that you have absolutely everything in there that you need in there. I don't see anything left, so that's good. So just to be on the safe side, I'll just pull up a tiny bit more. Sometimes this shot, like I said, this syringe is weird and this shot is weird, so I always just feel a little bit concerned. All right, so we're good there. We're gonna pull our needle out. As you can see, there's nothing left in there. It's nice and empty. So we need to switch out our needle now. So we cap our draw up needle and we twist that off and put it in your sharps container, which, by the way, on day 12 of stims is really full. Okay, so now we're gonna take our injection needle and again, just twist they're kind of hard to get off. You kind of gotta like grip it. So you just twist it off, and again, same thing, you just stick it on there and then kind of twist it until it stops and you can't twist it anymore. So I always end up kind of wiping myself down twice with the alcohol pad because it takes so long to do this that I'm like, oh, I better probably re-alcohol swab myself. It's so funny because I have actual, like, you can see all little tiny spots on my stomach from all my injection sites. All of my shots so far have been subcutaneous, which is nice. I think one of my triggers is intermuscular, which means that you have to do it in the butt muscle. Anywho, okay, so we've got our regular needle, which is much less intimidating than our draw-up needle. And so we're good to go. We're just gonna, can everybody see it? So we just stick it in there. And some people say that they feel like the cetrotide hurts. It doesn't really bother me. I do sometimes get a tad bit itchy at the injection site, but other than that, it doesn't bother me. The only other piece of advice I have with this is really just make sure that you plunge that needle all the way down. Even when you think it's all the way down, give it a couple of extra hard pushes because it, like I said, it floats back up. So with this one, I kind of treat it like a pen, and I always leave it in for an extra couple of seconds just to be on the safe side to make sure that everything comes out. And that's that. So we'll just replace our needle cap and pop that in our sharps container. And we're good. This is kind of silly, but after I finish every dose of medicine, this is like totally personal preference, and there's probably really no good reason for it. but I always just write empty and then the date. So today is 7/24, and I just kind of set them all. This is silly, but like that's all of my, like that's my big pile of medicine. So just in case, like, I don't know, just in case they say like, you know, oh, do you know, like, I don't know, just if something would come up. So I know that's silly. But anyway, so that's the last of the cetrotide, the last of my trigger. And yeah, like I said, the cetrotide doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt injecting. It doesn't hurt afterwards. It's a pretty good, easy shot. I always leave it, I take it out of the fridge because it is a refrigerated med. I always take it out of the fridge for a good, like, honestly, maybe 15 minutes. With my night meds, with my Gonal and my cetrotide, or I'm sorry, my Gonal and my HCG, because I have to take so much Gonal, I'm on 425 units of it, and it takes a long time to get all that in there. I usually will take it out for like a half hour, but in the mornings, it's just this one cetrotide, 15 minutes. If you want to leave it out for longer, you can. It doesn't hurt, guys. This stuff really doesn't hurt, honestly. Like, all of my stim shots, it has not been a difficult, it's not painful to give yourself the shots. It's really not a big deal at all. So I was like, my biggest fear was messing up giving myself the shots, and honestly, like, it's really not bad, I promise you. So if that's what you're worrying about, just take that one thing off of your mental load, because I know this whole process is like so crazy stressful. So just trust me that the subcutaneous shots that you have to take during your stims, they are not that big of a deal. Like physically giving yourself the shot, it doesn't hurt, guys. I promise. I promise it doesn't hurt. And in case nobody has told you today, you're doing awesome. You are a kick-ass woman. You are super freaking strong, and your butt looks cute. So have an awesome day. Keep on kicking, my friends.